When the German army first deployed the MG-42 machine gun on the battlefield in 1942, the Allies realized that this was not just a weapon, but something new. It was unlike anything else. The sound was impossible to forget. It didn't shoot, it roared, screamed, tore the air apart. It wasn't the familiar ta-ta-ta, but a continuous piercing burst, as if someone were cutting a steel sheet with a huge saw. US and British soldiers first encountered this weapon in North Africa, and especially during the fighting in Normandy. That's when they gave it a name that became legendary: Hitler's buzzsaw. Allied soldiers said that the sound of the MG-42 could be heard several kilometers away. It caused animal fear. Even if you couldn't see the enemy, you knew they were somewhere ahead. One short burst, and the whole company would hit the ground. The psychological effect was enormous. Soviet soldiers recalled how recruits who heard the MG-42 for the first time lost their bearings, fell down, and forgot their commands. They did not understand where the fire was coming from. After all, with such a rate of fire, it was impossible to distinguish individual shots. After the start of World War II, the German command faced a problem. Their previous MG-34 machine gun, although considered a technical masterpiece, was too expensive, demanding in terms of materials, and difficult to mass produce. German industry simply could not keep up with supplying the front with the necessary number of these killing machines. Then engineers from Mauser and Grossfuss were tasked with creating a weapon that could be produced quickly, cheaply, and in huge quantities, without losing any of its combat capabilities. Thus, the MG-42 was born. It was made from stamped steel parts rather than milled ones, as before. This decision proved revolutionary. Now the machine gun could be produced 3 times faster than the MG-34, while retaining the same deadly accuracy. The MG-42 became a symbol of the German approach to weapons: cold efficiency, simplicity, and absolute reliability. It could even be assembled in a field factory or workshop, and thanks to its quick change barrel, it could fire almost without stopping. By 1943, the MG-42 was already in service with almost every German unit. It turned the ordinary Wehrmacht soldier into a machine of suppression, capable of turning the battlefield into chaos in seconds. And it was then that the Allies first realized that this machine gun was not just a weapon. It was an instrument of terror, born for a war where speed was more important than humanity. The main feature of the MG-42 is its rate of fire: 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute. That's almost 25 bullets per second, so fast that individual shots are no longer distinguishable. They merge into a single dense metallic stream. To someone hearing this sound for the first time, it is not gunfire. It is a continuous, space-piercing buzzing sound, like a saw cutting through the air. Such a density of fire transformed the machine gun from a simple means of destruction into an instrument of suppression. A short, controlled burst of several dozen rounds meant instant loss of combat effectiveness for the advancing infantry. People fell, lost their bearings, and commands broke down. The MG-42 could turn open terrain into a field of silent chaos, and it did so faster than the enemy could react. But high rate of fire is not only effective on the battlefield, it also requires discipline and logistics. Thousands of rounds were fired in a single minute of full power fire. Ammunition belts of 50 or 250 rounds quickly melted away. This required an uninterrupted supply of ammunition, a well-trained crew, and a constant supply of ammunition. In practice, German crews trained soldiers to store and quickly change belts. Otherwise, there simply wasn't enough firepower where it was vitally needed. The sound of the MG-42 acted as a distress signal, not just a notification of gunfire, but an alarm that shut down rational thinking. When the crew opened fire, it caused not only physical damage, but also an instant, almost instinctive reaction of fear. Soldiers who heard this brrr instinctively fell to the ground, covered their heads, stopped moving, and working as a team. Those very seconds stretched out, and in that pause, initiative was lost. The frightening effect was created by a combination of factors: the unusually high density of fire, the characteristic tone and duration of the burst, and the inability to locate the point of origin of the shots in the usual sense. At 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute, individual shots merge into noise. The enemy does not hear shot, pause, shot, but rather a continuous carving of space. This disrupted tactical thinking. Soldiers could not plan maneuvers because they could not see any gaps in the fire that could be exploited. The psychological impact was amplified by the organization of the German infantry around the machine gun crew. The MG-42 was at the center of the firing pattern. It suppressed, set the pace of the battle, and wherever the saw sounded, the enemy gave up the initiative. This allowed the Germans not only to destroy manpower, but also to control the territory, to hold the approaches, cover the flanks, and close the corridors of movement. For the enemy, the main thing was not so much to die from a shell as to lose the will to act. The MG-42 was not just a successful assembly of parts, it was a well-thought-out engineering response to the reality of large-scale warfare. Its heart, a mechanism with roller locking and short recoil, worked so quickly and reliably that it could withstand a furious rate of fire without any problems. The cartridge, the classic 7.92 by 57 Mauser, was fed by a belt. The design provided for both a portable mount with bipods and attachment to a tripod and armor, making the MG-42 a versatile weapon for infantry and firing points. After the war, this proved to be more important than just high accuracy. The idea of a reliable, mass-produced, and simple-to-manufacture machine gun became the basis for all post-war automatic weapons. The MG-42 was directly reborn as the MG-3, the same mechanism adapted for 7.62 NATO and still in service in a number of armies. But the influence is broader. The very principle of a general-purpose machine gun, a single machine gun capable of performing a variety of tasks, became the standard. The concepts of automation, reliability in muddy conditions, and speed of production were reflected in post-war designs. From the Austrian MG-74 to a whole line of Western machine guns, and the idea of stamping and simplicity of manufacture became the basis for mass weapon design in the 20th century. The practical result was that the MG-42 showed that in the era of industrial warfare, it was not only engineering elegance that was valued, but also the ability of a system to be mass-produced, maintained, and used. Its design spawned a legacy. Modern ideas about the balance between rate of fire, reliability, and manufacturability are largely based on lessons learned from Hitler's SAW.